Welcome, video watchers, and this time I brought you a game which is not very famous, not very looked at, but actually very much amazing, and you would fall in love after watching this. Well, considering the moves, they are quite familiar, but they are not played nowadays, although they are really awesome. And these chess variations should be in any published chess theory book because this whole game is awesome. This whole chess game should be there, but unfortunately, I've searched many times over the web and it's not. So maybe if this video gets enough likes, it might be published in a chess book one day. Well, the game starts with white player playing with d4 and knight to f6. Now you must be expecting an Indian game if I've said that it's not that familiar. I mean, it's familiar but not that played. But bishop to g5. The Trompanovsky attack is the game we are looking at today. And we are looking at the Borg variation. So knight e4, bishop goes back to h4 and the g5. The majestic move, bishop to e5, f6 and e3. Now you must be considering that why are you allowing this f captures on e5? Well, queen h5 is checkmate. You cannot move the king anywhere. So let's go back. e3 we were at. So here h5 was played, which is the absolutely best move in the position. Even better than the e6 move or d6 possibly, but bishop to e2. Now another trick in the game, you cannot again capture on e5 because after bishop captures, rook captures, now queen captures is checkmate again. So after bishop to e2, g4, the absolute best move again, and I'm telling you this is not really much analyzed. Bishop to f4 was played and bishop to g3 is also possible, but that just allows the exchanges which we are not fond of. Here knight to c6 is played, and that's probably the right move actually, but there are a few other suggestions by the engine, but this is a very big trap and even the engines fall for this trap, and there are two right moves here. One of them is h3 and what was played in the game is bishop to d3. If you fall for it like the engine does, the engine played knight to c3, and the amazing point is if after a captures, you might think that if I'm playing with the black pieces, the white has just got advantage. White has a active bishop pair, he has an open b file for the rook, and possibly castling rights can be retained, but you're completely lost. So try to find the magical move which immediately wins the game for black. Ready? Well, the move which immediately wins for black is the move e5. Now you must be considering how e5 exactly wins, because you just capture there, and after pawn recaptures, how exactly do you play in this position? Well, you cannot, because the bishop is completely blocked, and even if you try to hide away immediately with bishop to g3, which is the best move according to engine, h4 is coming. After bishop captures, pawn captures, this check, moving forward, pawn captures. You must be thinking that oh really, what next can you do? Well, you have the move of d5, and no matter what you play, black is completely winning this position, and the computer just immediately changes the analysis. Every chess engine almost falls for this trap. This is really amazing. So you cannot play knight to c3 after knight to c6. So here bishop to d3 was played, which is a really good move. d5, h3, and I told you already how h3 is really important. So black goes for e5 immediately, bishop goes back to h2, pawn captures, bishop captures, pawn captures, knight to e2, this push on d3 again, and knight to f4. An amazing move. Now bishop over there, just trying to protect the pawn chain, and after pawn captures, you might be thinking that captures is not that good. You're right, absolutely. Knight to c3 is the move which was played, and if you're trying to think of pushing the pawn, it doesn't work that way. Black went for the absolute best, queen d7. Queen b3 was played, castling by black on the long side, queen side I mean, and another trap set by black. You cannot castle long side because d2 check immediately wins. The whole diagonal is covered by the bishop. So you have to capture with the rook, and queen captures is immediately checkmate. So after this long castle, white went for the short castle and d2 was played. Rook a to d2 was played, queen d3, bishop to d3, knight captures, queen captures, and this is probably the most fantastic move played in this whole game. Ready to see it? The move is rook captures on d2. Now, although it is so much threatening, there are two possible variations in this game. You can either capture the rook on f1 and then win that rook, or you can do what black exactly played. Captures on d2 and then rook d1 again. Now captures on d1 and knight captures. So for a queen and a pawn, black got two rooks, and the position is still slightly better for black. Bishop f4 was played, a3, bishop a5, retreat, and after knight to c3 captures. And of course you're up in material, you're not up in material exactly speaking, but if you got majorly many pieces for few high quality pieces, you really want to trade away. So king b8 was played, a prophylactic move, king to f1, knight to e5, bishop captures, f captures, queen e6, and g captures on h3. And here a very big mistake, and this should be, I'm talking about, this should be in the theory of possibly each and every chess book ever published. The move is queen captures on e5. Now how this is a mistake? It's a very big mistake, because rook h2 e8 is coming and you have to play the queen h2, which is a forced move. Otherwise you lose, not immediately but slowly at least. This is going to be tragic for you as well. The move you have to find is h captures on g2. If now queen captures, then h4 is coming, and after the whole variation I'm about to show you this over here, you can see that the two rooks are awesomely defending. And even if the white pieces get an idea like e5, e6, still black is extremely safe. Although, and on the contrary, black is also pushing over the king side of white. But in the game, after h captures on d2, another mistake was king captures on g2, which allowed the possibly greatest brilliancy ever anybody had seen. You really need to find this move. I mean, yeah. Well, this is a 40 move game, and let me remind you that it's been a lot of time explaining it, more than 7 minutes. So I'll go for the move immediately. The move played in this position was rook captures on e3. This is simply amazing. Let's have a look if you don't capture that rook, and if you play something like queen captures on h5, then rook captures on c3. Now a4, rook g8 check, king f1, rook to f8, king e2. Let's consider you give this check, you move, you win that another pawn. Simply you're too much lost, because there's no way you can defend this position. When I say no way, it's really no way, I mean. So let's see what happened in the game after rook captures on e3. Of course, white went for capturing on e3, and then this rook d2 check was given, so you immediately lose the queen for the two rooks. And the maestro of all end games, you can see here, black is completely winning. Let me fast forward in the game. What was exactly played were these moves, and as you can see, after this last a captures on b4, black had 2 plus pawns and there was no way to win this, and immediately white resigned. So yeah, this is the exact position. I wish that it should be there in almost all chess books, that queen captures on e5, you give this rook swing over here, and after queen goes to h2 and these captures, this move should be published in at least one chess book. Thank you all for watching the game.